Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for yet another edition of 15 Minutes in WACSI. 15 Minutes in WACSI is a special program that brings to you, our dear viewers, special insights about what civil society organizations are doing, the happenings in our different countries across the region. And today, we will be talking about developments around the sustainability of civil society organizations in Ghana. And I have here with me a senior and respected colleague in the civil society sector in the country. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
Can you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
I am Theophilus Ibrahim Dokurugu from Northern Ghana Network for Development.
Great. So thank you. We are here in Accra concluding 2 days or 3 days of the Civil Society Organizations Fellowship on our sustainability. What are your impressions after 3 days of intense reflections?
My impression is that people are willing to go out and think out of the box, determined to seek their independence from being donor dependent to becoming sustainable, and being sustainable with support from local resources and not from external sources. I see that zeal in all those who participated in this training.
And you see that zeal from all those who participated in this training, and this training is an outcome of a research that was commissioned and published in 2015 by WACSI with support from Star Ghana on the state of civil society organization sustainability in Ghana. Interestingly, Mr. Theophilus was one of the participants who was interviewed in that. Can you share with us your impression from being interviewed, the research being published, and the events that have unfolded until this moment?
In fact, it's been fantastic. When I was first called to be interviewed during the research, I didn't know that this was the kind of journey that we would be taking. But from what seemed to be just innocent and casual answers, the book that came out, the document that came out of it was very refreshing. And I think that all those who were interviewed did a very good job at providing answers and a direction for the publication of that book. But beyond that, the convenings, around the country to see what civil society thought and felt about being sustainable. Then the workshops, the training workshops, and now this reflection, I think that we have come a long way. And for me, it's a very rare privilege even to be chosen among what we call this afternoon Champion 20, but to be among the 20 organizations that have come with this process so far, and to continue to demonstrate that it is possible to be sustainable in a way that we never thought was possible before. I think that this is very refreshing and very instructive.
And can you just share with us the learnings that, the lessons that you've gathered from this process so far, particularly from an organizational perspective?
Well, the learnings are that, look, when you look hard within you enough, there are resources that can make you sustainable that you had previously overlooked. And sometimes when we think about sustainability, mostly we think about it in terms of money. But sustainability goes beyond money, even though money is important and I would even say essential. But that is not the only thing. There are little things that we can begin to do in our organizations that will make us sustainable, that we did not even consider. And if one would only look inside carefully, you will identify little and small ways that you can remain sustainable, even if the money does not increase. Because when you find ways of even decreasing your expenditure, you are becoming more sustainable. When you begin to have people who have acquired a certain number of skill set that you do not need to go outside your organization to even hire, you are becoming more sustainable, And WACSI has demonstrated it. I know quite a number of staff. I know I used to attend training workshops, in which people came from the UK, came from Nigeria, to come and facilitate workshops for WACSI. But in the last few years, I see that every time that we are having a training workshop, WACSI, it is the staff of WACSI who are doing it. That means that you've come and you are saving as an organization, or even consultancies. Those who would come to normally have given training on your behalf. Now you are doing it yourself. And that's the way. So it's not just the money, but even building the capacity of the staff is one way of becoming sustainable. So we've learned various facets of being sustainable. And I think that this is a very good thing that WACSI has done. I have learned from that, and I think that others too have learned from that process.
And looking after all of these things that you've learned, certainly your organization has demonstrated that you really want to take steps, towards becoming self-sufficient or sustainable. So what would you say, what are some of those challenges you've encountered, over the years, or over the last few months, as you put together actions towards becoming sustainable? What are some of those challenges you've encountered, even though at the very early ages?
Yes, identifying who to work with in this march towards sustainability is one. Because obviously no one is an island. Even in your march towards sustainability, you cannot do it all alone. So you would have to get like-minded people who have that same mindset and are determined to see that we are all sustainable. So identifying who to work with in this march has been a challenge. It is not insurmountable anyway, because in the end, we've gotten people that we can work with. Then also, in terms of financing, sometimes we are so bogged down with the mindset of proposals. But I realize that one of the challenges is also identifying those non-traditional sources of funding. Non-traditional sources. Sometimes very little and insignificant ways. But then, when you are able to do it well, you realize that you become sustainable. And so identifying those ones who were challenging. But now, with the capacity building sessions that WACSI has given us, now in my mind, I already have actions that I plan to take in terms of those little things, insignificant things like one CD every month from someone, but if it's regular, consistent, and someone will give you one CD every month, it means that you are getting 12 CDs from the person in a year. And if you can get about 100,000 people, that will translate to 120,000 CDs. And yet, people spend sometimes up to 20 Ghana cedis on their phone on a day. And so one CD does not mean anything. And even children can become donors. And then you make sure that you acknowledge them so that they know that they are contributing to a worthy cause. So these have been some of the challenges, that is identifying the people. But I think we are getting there because the support has been great, and because of that, we are now able to even begin to see resources where we never saw before.
And just to emphasize on the non-traditional funding sources, the West Africa Civil Society Institute has published a guidebook on alternative funding models, which you can access for free on our website, www.wacsi.org. Download it and you will find 12 alternative ways that as civil society organizations in the continent, you can generate resources to support your work. And in all, you will have the approaches, tips, pros and cons for each of them, and you can adapt to suit your context. Coming back to you, what recommendations do you have for our sister organizations in Ghana and in other countries across the region when looking at their sustainability, given the challenge of dwindling funding that we all face now?
The slogan is a simple one: be prepared to change or die. The business as usual will no longer work. It is only those who will be innovative, who will prove that they are credible, they have integrity, who will demonstrate visible results. They are the ones that will survive. And so even as we think of sustainability, it goes with a responsibility to our constituents, those who will support us in becoming sustainable, to let them have the confidence that whatever support that you have been given to become sustainable is actually money and time well spent. I will give this advice to all our sister organizations, and that it doesn't just happen in a vacuum. As an organization, one would have to consciously plan for sustainability. It will take some steps. It will take, you might, like a toddling baby, you might fall once in a while, but a toddling baby never stops until it learns how to walk properly. And so it might be a long walk, but with commitment and determination, each of us can become sustainable.
With determination, each of us can become sustainable. On that note, dear viewers, we would end this edition of 15 Minutes Inside WACSI. We invite you to follow us on Facebook. We invite you to visit our website. We invite you to follow us on Twitter. And hang on to our YouTube channel. Share a comment on what you think about this. If you're taking this discussion in your country, in your organization, share what you think, share the results that are coming from it, so that others can learn from us. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Jim. Yes, I really am grateful to be a part of this process.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.